Hey everyone. If you played Apple IIgs games back in the day, as I did, I think I've mentioned many times on my channel that I grew up with an Apple IIgs. That was like my first home computer as a kid. Uh, Easily one of the very first games that will come to your mind, maybe even the game that comes to your mind when you think of Apple IIgs games, is Zany Golf. It really is one of the definitive Apple IIgs games. Took full advantage of the capabilities of the Apple IIgs. There were a lot of games that were ported to the Apple IIgs from other platforms, but a lot of them didn't take advantage of the better graphics and sound capabilities of the Apple IIgs. So they were basically, they may have run on the 2GS, but they sounded just as they did on other platforms, so they didn't sound very good. There were not a lot of games that really took advantage of the synthesizer chip that were in the 2GS and the greater graphical capabilities that you could do with it. But Zany Golf was a game that really hit a home run. It really was a magnificent game in pretty much every regard. And I think for most people, including myself, the centerpiece of the game is the music. It has a magnificent musical soundtrack, easily one of the best soundtracks of any Apple IIgs game. And I mean, it's a good game as well. I mean, it's a good miniature golf game, but the music is a centerpiece. So one of the problems that I've wanted to make a video about Zany Golf for a long time, but one of the problems that I've always had with it is simply that I'm not very good at it. And the problem with Zany Golf is, let me run the game rather than me talking for an hour before I start the game. Let me go ahead and just get into it, and I'll start the game, and then we can chat maybe a little bit later. So I've mentioned in the past, the way that these new emulators kind of do things annoys me a little bit. You have to press Control B and then press Enter to get out of the monitor program, and then you can type the usual PR number, slot number to run a program. So I should have my disk in the drive, in slot 5, in the drive that is controlled by the controller card in slot 5. Takes a little while. I think I'm emulating at an authentic speed here, so it will take a little while to... Oh yeah, that little fade in there. Just like the way the credits here kind of fade in, like there's silence. It's like the calm before the storm. Electronic Arts presents a Sandcastle production, written by those people. Oh, it didn't finish. You know what? I think because I'm running this 2GS in fast mode, I'm running it at like 2.5 megahertz instead of 1 megahertz. I think it actually... That's kind of unfortunate. Okay, I'm going to press 1 to start. So you can press 1 to 4 to choose the number of players. I could play that again with the 2GS emulated at a slightly slower speed, but you know what? We almost heard the whole thing. That was almost the whole intro music. Let's just get on with it. So you can see there's a par number, which in golf is the usual sort of average expected number of strokes that you'd need to finish a golf hole to get the ball into the hole of the course. But the way that Zany Golf works is a little bit different. You see how it says strokes left? The problem here is every time you hit the ball, it deducts one of your strokes. And if you run out of strokes, it's game over. So in most golf games, you're never blocked from getting to the end. Like there's nothing that stops you from playing all the way through the golf course. But in this game, to kind of add a bit more challenge, the number of strokes that you have is actually counted down. Like again, it counts down one stroke every time you hit the ball. If it gets down to zero, that's it. It's game over. You can't play anymore. And like I said, I'm not very good at this game. I remember when I was a kid, I did actually beat the game, but that's difficult to do. It took a lot of practice. It's certainly possible. Like I'm not saying it's impossible by any means, but it is something you need to devote a lot of time to. But what I found is a wonderful modified version of this game which gives you unlimited strokes. And yeah, it's kind of a cheat, and you can say, well, I'm cheating by playing a modified version of the game. Yeah, but so what? It's not fun to run out of strokes and have to play the game over from the beginning. If you run out of strokes, like I said, it's game over. You have to restart the game. So I just find it a lot more fun to just play the game at a leisurely pace and not have to worry about, oh, am I going to run out of strokes and have to restart the game. I just find that very stressful. I don't like having to restart games. And I think a lot of people have realized that that is very stressful. It's not fun. It's not fun to have to restart when you run out of lives or whatever. And so most games today have kind of done away with that mechanic. But this is an older game. As you saw, it's from, I think, 1988. So yeah. You can find this modified version on the venerable What is the 2GS website. If you Google for What is the 2GS, you'll find a wonderful website with pretty much every major Apple IIgs game ever made, freely downloadable there. And if you go to Zany Golf, you can download the original Zany Golf, but there's also, in the same zip file, there's a modified version it's just called Unlimited Strokes or something like that. So you get unlimited strokes of the ball in the game. If you also Google Zany Golf Trainer or something like that, you'll find another version of the game. I think it's on the Internet Archive with a very colorful name for the trainer. By colorful, I mean it's a swear word, and that also works. But that requires you to go into the control panel. But this here, you don't have to configure anything. It just works out of the box. You just boot the disc and you have unlimited strokes. So what I'm going to do for each hole, there are I think 9 holes. Is that right? Well, plus the bonus hole. So I think there's 9 holes plus like a secret hole in the game. I want to show all of them, but because the music on each hole is so wonderful, what I'm going to do whenever I start a new hole is I'm going to first let the music play through once. The music loops. On every hole, it's a music loop, so I'm going to let the loop play once. You can enjoy it without me talking over it, and then I'll make the game audio quieter and then play the hole. So here we go. This is the first hole of the game. It's a windmill hole. And yeah, it's a fairly basic hole. You get a free stroke for entering the windmill. Otherwise, this is just kind of a tutorial, sort of like a tutorial hole to kind of get you used to the game. But like I said, I'll go and start the hole and let the music play through first. Okay, there we go. So now the music loops. All right, so I'm gonna turn that down just a little bit. I don't know how it compares to the sound of my voice, but I don't want it to be... I mean, it's nice to have the music playing in the background, but I don't want it to be too oppressively loud, so I'm not sure where the balance is. But anyway, hopefully this is a good balance. So the way that the game works is fairly simple. I think there are other games which have used a similar mechanic. You put this... So your mouse cursor is this cross. You put the mouse over the ball, and what you do is you hold the mouse button, and you get this little dotted line that kind of extends out from the ball. And basically the ball moves away from the cross. So what you want to do here... You put the cross back over the ball so you get that X, and if the X shows up, that means you can release the mouse button without hitting the ball. So, most holes have a couple of ways to do things. So in this case, your goal is obviously to get into the windmill here, get into that little hole there, which is tricky partly because, the blades might block it, but also it's just, it's kind of an angle shot. You need to basically hit this. It's hard to tell. Maybe if this is a slope. This is a downward slope. So you need to whack the ball pretty hard so that it hits this angle here, goes up into the hole there, and then if you're lucky and you actually get into the hole, not only we get an extra stroke, but also the ball will then come out of this house hole here, and it may roll into the target hole there. So, ideal situation here is, you whack the ball into the windmill, ball comes out of the red house here, and just rolls into the hole. You can get a hole in one. On the first 8 holes of this game, you can get a hole in one. It is possible to do. It's tricky, but doable. If you don't get... Well, let's see what happens. I probably will not... When I was a kid, I used to be able to get it into the windmill fairly reliably. Like, not every time, but, reasonably regularly. But now, I haven't played this game in so long, I'm probably out of practice. So let's see. Let's see how it goes. Oh, almost. Okay, but obviously I didn't get into the windmill, so it comes out that lighthouse instead. So yeah, so that pretty much destroys your chances of a hole in one, but you can get a hole in 2. But even if we don't, see, I started off with 5 strokes, and I still have 5 strokes. I should have 4, but that modified version of the game is working in our favor and letting me play with without a reduction in my strokes. Oh, I hit the ball too hard. I hit the ball too hard and it wobbled over the hole instead of going into the hole. There we go. You are in, player 1. Alright. Nice. Alright, so yeah, hole 2, hamburger hole. And this one... Yeah. The hole that you need to get into is actually covered by a hamburger, so you have to click repeatedly to make the hamburger bounce. Then rebound off the catsup, which is, I believe, a dialectal word for ketchup. So I'm gonna mute my microphone and again then start the hole, so we can listen to the music loop once first. So I realized after a while that I had forgotten to turn the game audio back up, so you think you didn't hear the... I let it play a second time because I didn't think you didn't hear the first time at full volume. Okay, so yeah, as you can see, there is a fairy there. So randomly, sometimes the game generates a fairy who will just sit there, and if you touch the fairy with your ball, I think you get some bonus strokes. Might be worth a try, but... oh yeah, you can see the par for this hole is 3. So basically, when I started this hole, it added 3 to the strokes I had. So I had 5 strokes, now I have 8 because it added 3. So yeah, every hole, it adds the par of strokes. So you get more with every hole, but still, you have to, you have to be within the number of strokes. You have to not run out of strokes. So yeah, this is a fairly easy... Oh wait, I forgot to bounce the hamburger. There we go. So because I clicked once, it started bouncing a little bit. And what you do is you just keep clicking. Just keep clicking like that until... There we go. You reach a limit. I don't think it bounces higher than this. Or does it? Is it still going higher? I don't think it is. Or is it actually still going higher? Oh, alas, the fairy is gone. Yeah, the fairy doesn't stay forever. The fairy will disappear after a while. It's too bad. I probably would have had time to catch her if I'd if I'd actually started playing right away. It's not that big a deal. I mean, basically, if you hit her, she just disappears, and it says you get some bonus strokes, but that's it. All right, so let's go ahead. This is a fairly straightforward shot. You can pretty much just shoot along the length of this. There we go. See, just like that. There you go. Nice angle shot. Oh, almost got it. Almost got it. Almost got a hole-in-one. All right. So now it's a little bit tricky because we have this slope here. So we have to shoot up the slope and into the hole. So we can't shoot... You don't want to shoot too hard because you don't want to overshoot the hole, but obviously you can't shoot too gently because then you might just roll back down the slope. The vagaries of miniature golf. All right, let's see. And timing, of course, is important because you have to get the ball to the hole when the hamburger is up in the air. Otherwise, the hamburger will bounce the ball back. So, I way overshot. I shot way too. That was way too hard of a shot. That's the thing, when you haven't played this game for a while, you kind of lose a feel for how hard you need to shoot the ball and so on. Did you hear that clack? The hamburger made like a little clacking sound as it hit the ball, just to kind of indicate that your ball hit the hamburger, although it didn't deflect the ball very much. All right, this should work now. This should be a pretty easy shot. There we go. So I got it in the par of 3. That's not too bad, I guess. Really, I should have done better, but oh well. Okay, Walls. This is one of my favorite musical tracks in the game, by the way. I like the musical track here for Walls, so I'm gonna... Yeah, so ricocheting off the third wall is the best shot, but before we do anything like that, I'll go ahead and mute myself, turn up the game audio, and listen to this great music. Okay, there we go. Very nice music. I like that music. All right, so the layout here, as you can see, is fairly simple. You have 3 walls. You need to time your shot so that you hit the third wall there, and then just bounce off or ricochet off that wall and get down here into the hole. Again, it's very possible to get a hole-in-one here. Your first shot will really set the tone for the rest of this hole. If you get lucky, you'll roll down this green area here and then just have a fairly easy shot into the hole. If you miss it, if you miss the third wall, or if you hit one of the other walls, you'll get down here into this red area, and then it can be kind of tricky. Then you'll probably waste a couple of shots just trying to get to the hole. You can kind of shoot across. Like if you're here, for example, you can kind of shoot in this direction and then just kind of have the ball roll down here. But then, like, let's say I end up here. Let's say I hit the second wall and end up down here. Then I'm going to have to waste a shot to kind of get over here. If I'm lucky, I'll get into the green area and then use a third shot to kind of get into the hole. And I mean, if I'm shooting from here, it's certainly not guaranteed that a shot from here will get into the hole. So I would end up probably needing like 4 shots then. So if you hit like the first or second wall, you'll probably end up way over par. So like I said, you really need to get that first shot. You really want to catch that third wall, because if you don't, you're pretty much screwed. You really need to waste a lot of... Okay, so let's see. So I estimate that I should probably release the shot. I should probably hit the ball right around the time that the second wall starts coming down, because that will mean that the ball should hit the third wall right when the third wall is still up. So let's see. So I'll release right when the second wall starts coming down, right about there. There we go. Perfect. Oh yeah. Oh yes. Yes, that is exactly what you want to do. And I mean, that was obviously lucky, but I mean, there's a certain element of skill involved, obviously, but obviously there was also a great deal of luck involved there. So I mean, the game's physics aren't perfect. They're pretty good physics for 1988, but I mean, it's obviously, 80s physics in computer games weren't that great. So yeah, pinball. This is a very memorable hole. It is literally a little miniature pinball machine integrated into the game. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I will explain how the pinball table works in a bit. Notice also the symbols on the left there. Those are that cube, sphere, and pyramid are the symbols of EA, of Electronic Arts. But yeah, okay, let's go ahead and listen to the music. Isn't that lovely? I think that might be one of the most pleasant songs on this game's soundtrack. I mean, most of the songs are good, but this one is just very, it's very soothing. Very. Anyway, okay, so here we are, pinball. So The ball can exit either from here, which is obviously ideal because the flag is here, or it can exit from here, which is less ideal because that means you're going to have to shoot around this sphere and cube here. Your main goal is to hit these two targets here and here. Well, this looks like two targets, but I think they function as one. So these two function as one unit, and these two do as well. So you need to hit this here and this here. Once you do that, you can exit through this hole here. I actually don't know under what circumstances you come out of this hole and what circumstances you come out of this hole. I want to say under certain circumstances you can actually have the ball drain out here and it'll come out here. Is that right? I actually don't remember. Anyway, okay. So yeah, but it is a pinball table, so you have these three bumpers here which function pretty much like normal pinball bumpers. Also, right now you have a bumper here and a bumper here, so the ball can't drain down the side here. But when you hit these targets here, this will disappear, and then the ball can drain through this green chute here. Same thing here. Once you hit this bumper will lower, and the ball can drain out this green thing or through this green chute here. And yes, clicking the mouse, as you can see, activates the flippers, and it also activates another bumper, this little triangular bumper here. So your goal is to hit these two drop targets. Hit this target here and this target here, and then get the ball into the hole here. It's not that difficult, but, you know, sometimes it can get complicated. But let's see how we do. There we go. Oh, that was lucky. Well, okay, that was less lucky. But I hit the two drop targets on the first shot. That's nice. So now we just want to get the ball into this hole up here. And it's flashing red, invitingly saying, hey, come here get into my red hole. So, who are we to decline such a polite invitation? Let's get it in. Come on, get in. Oh. Sometimes you can just get it right into that hole with one shot. And, oh, darn it. Come on. Oh, so close. Oh. Well, that's frustrating. I usually have better luck. I usually can get it. Oh, well, that's bad. I can usually just get it into that hole without too much difficulty, but now it's just not cooperating. Oh. Oh, come on. That should have counted. That should have counted. That's... I am disappointed. I am very disappointed. There we go. And we got one stroke for getting it into that hole. Very nice. Oh. Yeah, that's how it's supposed to work. See how everything works out when when you get it into the right hole, then everything just works out. It just, you know, nature just takes over and just things happen by themselves. Okay, fans, this is hole number 5. This is, I think, my favorite music of the game. It may be an acquired taste, but this is my favorite music. And yet, you're starting to notice probably a lot of these holes are interactive. So yeah, even after you shot the ball on this hole, you will want to wildly move the mouse back and forth on the table because that makes the fans blow, and the fans will kind of push the ball along on its course toward the hole. So make sure to move your mouse like crazy after you shoot the ball. But of course, before I do anything, I will mute myself and let's listen to this great music. Lovely. I like that. It has a kind of a mysterious sound to it, almost like something from a detective movie or something like that. I don't know. Anyway, so yeah, you might notice also the music seems to be coming just out of the left side, like it is in stereo, but unfortunately it's only using the left side audio channel, which is it didn't bother me too much when I was a kid playing on a real Apple IIgs because, you know, I just played using the built-in speaker in the machine, and you don't really care I mean, if you have a machine sitting on your desk anyway, you don't really care too much about stereo, but it does become a little bit annoying or disturbing if you're wearing headphones. Okay, so yeah, so this is a fairly straightforward home. You can see this hole is a lot longer than the ones we've seen thus far, but again, the idea is that you're supposed to wave those fans, jiggle that mouse and turn those fans, man. All right, so let's see if we can get a nice angle shot going here. Okay, good start. All right, so far so good. All right, come on, blow it in there. Blow it in there. Blow it. Oh, yeah. Sometimes that happens. Sometimes you'll get into like a corner here where the fans don't blow, and then then not much to be done about that. I just have to take another stroke. All right, there we go. Yes, blow me down. Blown wide open. There we go. All right, come on. There's another fan. You can't see, but there's a fan to the left of the ball. Come on, blow. Why is it not blowing? It didn't. It did not blow the ball. That's unfortunate. All right, so can I do? I'm not sure if I can get a straight shot into the hole from here. I think I should be able to. Let's try it. Well, no, I didn't. I think that was my fault. I think it's not that I couldn't, it's just that I didn't. All right. Well, took 4 strokes on a par 3 hole, which is not great, but oh well. Magic Carpet. This is not one of my personal favorite holes. But, oh well. So yeah, the principle is very simple. You have these checkerboard sort of magic carpets, and when the ball is on those, you can actually move the mouse, and it will actually move the ball. It's kind of like Marble Madness. You have sort of some inertial control over the ball with the mouse. But first comes the music. Boy, that music's kind of crazy. Yeah, like I said, this is not one of my favorite holes. I don't like the music here that much. This music is, I don't know, for some reason this music's not that much to my liking. And I seem to have bad luck with with these magic carpets. And yeah, lining up the first shot is annoying, so because these things keep going up and down, so there's obviously an element of timing involved. Obviously, what you want to do ideally is hit this thing when it's down, so you ricochet off that, and then pass through this thing when it's up, so you end up down here. Alternatively, of course, you can hit this thing when it's down and then ricochet down this magic carpet here, but it's difficult because you have to get through this tiny little gap here, and then, then you're down here and you have to get all the way down and to the right to get through this space, because the only way down, the only real way through, is through this thing here. So you can like go this whole long length along this magic carpet here, and then along this one, and then through here. But it's easier, in my opinion, just to go through this thing here, end up down here, and then. But on the other hand, I might actually, when I think about it now, I actually might be wasting a stroke by doing that, because it might be better to go down this way, because you have more control, because you're on a magic carpet here, so you could go down this way, stay on the magic carpet the whole time, and again have not total control, but some amount of inertial control over the ball, like be able to kind of push the ball in the direction that you're moving the mouse, and then you can come down here, get it into the hole. I mean, I have never gotten a hole-in-one on this hole, ever, I think, in my whole life, but it's probably, I mean, I guess it's possible to do. I've read that it's possible, but I would not expect it. Alright, let's see. So what are we doing here? So I want to hit that thing just as it goes down. Or do I? I guess yeah, here we go. There we go. Alright, so that's fine. That's usually the first shot. That's my usual first shot. And now obviously I have the problem. I have to kind of bounce the ball here, ricochet off this to get through that. Which is probably going to cost me... this is probably going to... Alright, there we go. Oh, come on. Oh. That sound that... I don't know if you can... Well, I mean, I'm sure you heard it. That kind of opera singing sound. That is the sound of being... That tells you that you're on the magic carpet. So... I need to... Oh, come on. Oh, come on. Get. Oh, you know what's happening? I'm moving the mouse so violently that I think I moved the mouse pointer out of this window. I think the magic carpets are not working for me because I'm running this game in a window, and I moved the cursor so aggressively that it took the cursor out of the window and is not applying my mouse movements to the game. Alright, I'm going to do very badly on this hole. I usually do fairly badly on this hole, but I think I'm going to do even worse than usual. Yeah, see, I can kind of influence... Wow. Back where I started. Oh, wow, this is really bad. I don't usually do this badly on this hole. This is, like, legendarily bad. There we go. Oh, come on. Oh, yeah, once again, it didn't work because I moved the mouse outside of the window. The emulator that I'm using actually has a function to trap the mouse cursor, but it doesn't seem to work if you get really crazy with the mouse. Like if you get totally super crazy with the mouse. Alright, well, I got in. What was that, like 5 strokes? That was really bad. That was terrible. But, oh well. Like I said, I usually do badly on that hole, but usually not quite that badly. Alright, Castle, hole 7. Ooh. Timer bonus. So yeah, if you finish the hole quickly, then you can get some bonus strokes. That will not happen. I can tell you right now, I will not finish this quickly, first of all, because I'll wait for the music to finish. Okay, so you get a free stroke for entering the castle. Castle gate opens after this trumpet flourish that we'll hear. So yeah, let's go ahead and start the music. Cool. Okay. So, so yeah, obviously I did not get the time bonus. You saw it in the upper left. In the upper left there was a timer counting down, and it started off with I think 4 extra strokes. So you can get, depending on how quickly you finish the level, you can get up to 4 extra strokes. But yeah, That rarely happens to me. I rarely beat the level in time for those things, especially on longer holes. This one can be a longer hole. It's not very long. I mean, you can easily... Well, I say easily. You can certainly get into the castle in one shot. And if you get into the castle when it's open, then I think you end up coming out here. And then from here, you can, you have a fairly direct shot into the hole from there. If you don't get into the castle and end up in one of these two holes here, that's okay. That's also not, it's not too bad, but it means you end up coming out here, and then you have to kind of go around like these three walls to get to the hole. It's kind of, it's not difficult, but it's tricky to do in a low number of shots. And yeah, that is how you can hear that the castle is opening, because which is a nice touch, because when you're here taking a shot, you can't see the castle, so you can't know when it's open, so you have to kind of use that audio cue. So the idea here is fairly simple. You just ricochet off these walls here, go up this slope, and get into the castle, which I think looks like this castle is modeled after Schloss Neuschwanstein in southern Germany, I'm guessing. Anyway, like a Snow White castle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to whack the ball really hard, and I'm going to wait for that dun-dun-dun-dun, and then when I hear that, I'm going to let go quickly and hopefully end up in the castle. Oh, I didn't make it. Alright, well, that's, like I said, it's not too bad. I mean, ideally you want to end up in the castle, because you get because I think you come out here, and also you get a free stroke for it, so that's obviously the ideal situation, but I can't do it consistently. I've done it a few times, but oh well. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to shoot down in the hopes that I ricochet. There we go. Yeah, hey, there we go. That's actually not too bad. Hey. That's weird. That was weird. For just a second, I heard the audio in my right. I'm wearing headphones, and for just a second, I heard the audio in my right ear. That's weird. All right, so if I make this shot, there we go. So I made that in par. I made that in the par number of 3, which is not too bad. I mean, you can do a lot worse. I've had situations where sometimes I just really can't seem to get the ball into one of those holes at the top, and it just really gets aggravating because it keeps rolling down the hill or falling into the water. There's that triangle of water in the middle there, and sometimes I don't know why, I just keep falling into the water. Okay, this one is kind of tricky as well because the hole moves. The problem is, the gimmick here is the hole will actually move and kind of try to avoid your ball. So, well, again, let's hear the music first before I get ahead of myself. Okay, so, so, I mean, it's fairly straightforward. You have these little red bumpers at the ends of these, at the ends of all these places, so You usually get a few shots at the hole. Even if you miss the hole the first time and the ball rolls down here, you can use the red bumper to bump the ball back up. You run into trouble if the ball kind of gets to the side here, or if it doesn't roll far enough. If it doesn't roll so far that it hits one of these bumpers, then it just gets stuck here, and obviously you have to shoot again. Or if it gets down here, because in the start area there's no bumpers, so if you are unlucky enough to roll back here, then you'll obviously have to take a shot from here. Like I said, the hole will move around. It moves around kind of randomly on the top of this hill here, but it will stop moving when you get really close to it. So usually what may be wise to do is to try to shoot not right for the hole, but try to get close to the hole, because that will make it stop, and then you can just get like a short shot into the hole. Let's see how I do. Sometimes I do really well here, and sometimes I do terribly. Let's see what happens this time. Okay, yes, I can. Okay, yeah, I can already tell this is not going to go well. This is not going to go well. There we go. Oh, maybe. Oh, no, no. So close. Oh, come on. It didn't bump. It did not bump. All right. If that rolls, yeah, it rolled down. Oh, come on. Okay. Yeah, this is not one of my finest performances. Sometimes I do really well here. Like, sometimes I just get off like an amazing shot, and it's just like, wow. Oh, no. Not again. Alright, well, at least that time I... Oh, but now it goes down the other way. Yeah, see, this is exactly what can happen if you're unlucky. I'm not having a good time on this hole. I am not having a... Okay. Yeah, you just keep going back and forth pointlessly, and it's just like... Oh, and I tried to shoot a little more gently because I keep overshooting, and now that was, yeah, that's what you get. You don't even get all the way up the hole now. Hill, I mean, you don't even get all the way up the hill. All right, there we go. See, and now when the flag goes down, I think the hole will stay still. You can sometimes, if you're lucky, you can kind of be to the left and right of the hole, because you can see it moves only left and right. It doesn't move like back and forth. It only moves to the left and right. So if you're to the left of the hole or to the right of the hole, you can just kind of shoot in a straight line and catch it, because it will still be in your line of fire. Energy. This is the last non-secret hole of the game, and this one is terrible. Gosh, this one is a nightmare. No instructions. Like, right when you most urgently need instructions, the game says, "Oh, no instructions." All right. I don't like the music here, but let's go ahead and give it a fair go. I'll play the music. Okay. All right. So, what's going on here? So, we've got a lot of things. Like, there's a lot of stuff happening on this hole. Obviously, this is like a big finish. These orbs here with the like electrical arcs crackling around them, they do not kill you. They act as pinball bumpers. So if you hit them, it will like powerfully shoot your ball off in the opposite direction. But they don't destroy your ball. This thing, on the other hand, does destroy your ball. If those lasers hit your ball, they will destroy it instantly. I think also, does this thing do anything? Okay, apparently not. If you were playing this game for real, you wouldn't want to experiment too much because you'd obviously have a very limited number of shots by this point. But because we have the luxury of that trainer, we can afford to explore a little bit. So you might have seen in the instructions, there weren't any instructions as such, but there was a hint. Try to hit the buttons on the computer. So that's this blue button here and this, I guess, cyan colored button there. You might think this red thing here is a button. It's not. It's just, you just have these two buttons here on the computer that you need to hit. So, what else do we have? So, these things, actually, I don't know, even remember what those things do. They look like tennis nets. Do they? Oh, I guess they deflect the... Okay, I guess that deflects the ball. Alright, fair enough. Does that always deflect the ball? Or... Because I saw it turn white. Does it deflect the ball when it turns white? Or... What happens if I shoot it while it's purple? Huh. Does it always turn white when the ball gets close to it? I guess it does. Okay. Okay, it looks like there's no way... Okay, it looks like it always turns white when you get close to it. Okay, so that's just a deflector thing. And yeah, like I said, and that thing passing in front of the computer, this little blue sheet or whatever, that will also destroy your ball. Let me show you, rather than just me describing it. I mean, we've got unlimited strokes here, so we can afford to experiment and fool around a bit. Oh, just barely missed it, but there we go. So yeah, when your ball gets destroyed, it's regenerated here. So, and actually, while we're at it, let's see what happens if those lasers hit us. I think it's the same thing. Oh, I'm surprised that didn't kill us. Yep. Same death. All right, so, you do need to hit those two buttons on the computer, but there are a couple of things. Notice this mouse hole here. You can sometimes see mouse eyes looking out at you from there. Not now, but you will occasionally see mouse eyes there. And there's this thing here. This is actually a chute that the ball can get shot into. So let's see what happens if we shoot the ball into the chute. Shoot into the chute. Whoops. Whoa. See that? See how that deflector thing kind of just threw our ball for a ride? Let's try that again. Now, yeah, when you have not hit the buttons on the computer, then that chute just returns you here. So let's... There we go. Oh yeah, and hitting one of the buttons turns on that thing, that laser thing in the middle there. However, I think that doesn't kill you. I think that just propels you. Let me try this, actually. Let me test it out. But I think... Okay, well now it's not running. Alright, that's great. It really is quite annoying how little control you have over the ball. I mean, this is not really good environment for game mechanics like this, in my opinion. I understand they wanted to go for a big finish. They wanted the last level to be really impressive, but it's kind of... Yeah, see that? That laser thing in the middle that we turned on by hitting the one button on the computer. That thing actually threw me into the mouse hole. Yeah, so normally that just happens. If you shoot into the mouse hole, your ball just goes in and then comes out. Obviously I said normally, that means sometimes... Oh, I went down that thing again, but yeah, that just sends us here. We need to turn on both buttons on the computer. Okay. Oh, come on. Yeah, this level's really frustrating. It's par 5, and I think even par 5 is not... Oh, come on. Getting shot all over the place like a... This is almost like another pinball level. It's just like your ball just gets bounced around all over the place like crazy. Alright, we're in a position here to try and make another run for that other computer button. But I want to wait until these... Alright, is that gonna... There we go. Alright, I did... I got killed, but I don't care. Okay. So... Let me see, does this actually... Hold on, does this work now as a... Oh. Okay, that kills me too. Oh, no, it didn't kill me. Oh, that beams me up here. Okay. Okay, so once you've touched both of the buttons on the computer, this is a teleporter, and it teleports you up here. From here, you can shoot up this slope here. And then you need to get into the hole there. And these holes here, I think are... Hold on, what do these other holes do? Let me just see. What do these other holes do? Do they... Whoa. Ah, that thing keeps bouncing me back and forth. Am I stuck here? I might actually be stuck here. Wow, that's never happened to me. Oh, okay. I finally ran out of juice. So, yeah. So what you're supposed to do, obviously, is, you know, get between these things and get between these holes and get to... I mean, that's your target hole there. But, let me just see what happens. I actually forget what happens if I get into one of these other holes. Oh, wow. Oh, we just come out there. Okay. And I think if we... hold on. I thought that this chute here... Okay, if I can get into it now. Just a little further. I thought that this also takes us somewhere different. Yeah, okay, there we go. It ejects us out here, which is obviously better than being down there. So your best option if you want to get into the hole is to hit the buttons on the computer and then go for this chute here, because that will eject the ball here. You still have a long way from here. You still have to very carefully go between these spheres, these like deflector spheres and things. But I have done it. I did it once as a kid. It's not easy to do, but I did it once. Your worst option is to use the teleporter pad. Obviously, you don't want to do that because then you end up here. Then you have to shoot up this slope here, which is obviously a lot harder. So yeah, definitely best thing to do is to just go for the chute here. Hit the two buttons on the computer, go for this chute here, and then go for the hole. That's the best thing to do. Alright, so I think I've covered everything here on the upper level. But there is a secret in this game, and it involves the mouse hole there. I think you need to hit both buttons on the computer before you can use it, though. You do need to hit both buttons on the computer in any case. I think this won't work if you haven't hit the buttons. But notice that, I don't know if you've seen it, sometimes those mouse eyes turn red. Happens fairly rarely. Okay, let me get down there. Let me see if I shoot into this hole here. Be very gentle about this now. And we come back out that mouse hole. Alright, so we've seen everything on the upper level. I think we've seen everything on the lower level as well, haven't we? I think we've seen all this stuff here. Okay, we've seen everything. So your goal to, if you want to get to the secret level, what you do is, like I said, again, I think you have to hit both buttons on the computer anyway. So whether you want to get into the hole here or get to the secret hole, both ways you have to hit the 2 buttons on the computer. But then the question is, what do you do after that? Obviously, if you go for the hole, you go, like I said, down the chute here and then go through this upper area here. But if you want to go for the secret hole, I will very carefully try to position myself in front of the mouse hole and wait for the eyes to show up red. When the eyes show up red, just get into that mouse hole there and we will see the secret hole, hopefully. It takes a while. The eyes are rarely red, so you'll have to be a little bit patient, but you don't need to wait like 5 minutes or anything like that. It takes maybe like a minute or 2. Just be patient. You don't have to wait too long. Just waiting for the red eyes. Come on. There. And it's an instant hole over, so you can avoid the whole problem with trying to get through that whole nightmare section up top, and it just takes you right to the final secret hole. So that's it. If we had gotten into the hole up there, there's no fireworks, there's no big congratulations. It just says you've gotten into the hole, player 1, just like it does in every other hole, and that's it. Bam, game over. But, and that's it, you've won. But we'll see the secret hole here now. So I think it's, for some reason it doesn't show the name, but I think it's called Secret or Mystery or something like that. And yeah, it's Arkanoid or Breakout or whatever. So yeah, so hit the drop target and incline, then holes exit to green. After putt, control paddle with the mouse. Yeah, meaning the breakout paddle, and then on the checker green, avoid squares that flash. Okay, so let's go ahead and hear this music. I think the music here is a bit underwhelming, but let's play it. Okay. So, what's the lowdown here? It's fairly straightforward. That doesn't mean it's easy, but it's fairly straightforward. Like I said, it's basically breakout. So you have down here, you have a breakout paddle, which will start getting controlled by the mouse as soon as you hit the ball. Your goal is to hit all the bricks here, all these targets, and then get the ball into either of these 2 holes. Doesn't matter which, you can get into either of these 2 holes. They function identically. It's a little bit... It's just well, maybe more than a little bit of a jerk. If you accidentally get the ball into one of these holes before hitting all the targets, it will reset all the targets. So you really want to avoid getting the ball into these holes until you've hit all the targets, because otherwise you just basically restart the breakout game. So yeah, this is breakout, with the difference that you have these 2 holes here, and you want to avoid getting to the holes until after you've hit all the targets. Once that's done, once you hit all the targets and then get into one of these 2 holes, then your ball comes out down here, and then that's it. And then it's just a final shot to the hole. And you can see how some of these squares sometimes flash. They will reset your ball to the beginning of this maze here. But let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's do one thing at a time. So This is a par 4, which I think is ridiculous. This is not a par 4. This is like a par 40. Well, I mean, okay, that might be exaggerating just a little bit, but it's not easy. Okay, here we go. So here we go. We are playing. Whoops. See that? I got into the hole there, and I already got into the hole, and it reset those targets that I hit. Okay, so like I said, you really want to avoid getting. Whoops. You really want to avoid getting into those 2 holes because it will undo your breakout progress. All right, so. Oh man. In any case, this is the last hole. This is the last hole of the game. There's nothing after this. So, and again, even if you win, like even if you finish this last hole, there are no fireworks. The game doesn't give you any great reward. It just says, you are in player 1, just like it does on every other hole of the game. And then that's it. Game's over, and you see your final score. And there's no victory sequence. There's no ending sequence. Which was a little bit disappointing to me as a kid. Oh, there we go. Now the holes are flashing because I got all the breakout targets. Now we can get into either of those 2 holes there. Oh, come on. There we go, just like that. And we end up down here. Okay, and this last part is just a little bit of it's just a little bit of cheek because oh, I actually just got straight into the hole. Usually you hit one of those flashing squares and then it resets you back to the beginning of that checkerboard area. That was it. Game over, and you just see how many strokes you took. So on Windmill, I took a bogey. I took 1 too many strokes. Hamburger, I also took a bogey. But then on Walls, I got a hole in 1. Nice. Pinball, took a bogey. Fans took a bogey. Carpets, I did wow, 7 strokes on carpets. That was terrible. Castle, surprisingly, was on par. Usually I get really good or really bad luck on Castle. Anthill was terrible, obviously. I mean, I did very poorly on Anthill. And then Energy, I took a lot of strokes because I wanted to show all the different things in the hole. And then Mystery, I actually got a par 4 in History. I'm surprised. So, you know, not excellent, not great, but I guess not too bad. I mean, other than towards the start of the game, I was only like at most 1 stroke over. And then again, like I did really bad on carpets, did really bad on Anthill. Otherwise, I guess I didn't do that badly. Okay. Well, like I said, not my proudest performance in my life, but also not too bad. So, yeah, that was it. That's all there is to it. And there are no other secrets that I'm aware of. I think that's, you know, we've seen pretty much all there is to see. So that's it. That was Zany Golf for the Apple IIgs. Again, a great game, not necessarily a lot of replay value. This is not something that I'd want to replay. It's so frustrating. It's so incredibly frustrating if you're playing without this infinite strokes trainer that this was, you know, after I finished it the first time, I said, I'm never playing it again. And that's true. I never tried to play through it again because it's just so frustrating. But you know, for the time that you spend with it, it is a nice game. Very, very enjoyable music. Love the music in this game. Love the atmosphere overall. It has, you know, very nice atmosphere, very charming graphics. Like I said, it really took advantage of the increased graphical and audio capabilities of the Apple IIgs. One of the few games that really took advantage of those. So, again, definitely one of the definitive Apple IIgs games of the day. And that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. Take care. Hope you're all doing well, and I'll talk to you all later. Until then, ta-ta for now.